that it's now a performance. But in a way, I guess it ties in. Like, how does it feel for you? Because you have become that person.
Everybody loves you.
But everybody loves you because everybody loves you. We don't all love her, by the way. We use love in such a weird way. We respect you.
Yes.
And it's because you ask really interesting questions. So before we start selling our movie Sender, which we're here for,
we will do that.
How are you? I was going to ask you without everybody looking at me. How are you feeling about that new found respect within the industry?
That means the world to me because I feel so grateful to get to sit in this seat and do what I love. So to know that my work has the intended effect on the artists that I love that deserve more, but also the people that just want to watch and learn more and be fans of the people and the films that they love. Like, that was the dream since day one.
But have you noticed that shift?
Because of people like you, yeah.
Okay. But you know
Sincerely.
what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah,
but you
I think about it.
Because we've done this all day, and there's only one person whose name, and by the way, your name Perri, just like, you don't even need your last name.
Just Perri. You said Perri.
So I think
Everyone
you're
was
like
oh,
Madonna.
Yay.
You're like a Madonna. You are.
My dad might not like that. He's very proud to be a Nemiroff.
Nemiroff.
I understand, and we respect your dad, but you've really become a one-name person. Yeah. So anyway, you can now do your job. We'll pretend like none of this happened.
I'm never going to forget this, sincerely. It means the world to me to hear something like that. It also means the world to me to be at the Cinema Center at South by Southwest 2026 with another Collider interview with the team behind Sender. Some of you know I've been following this movie for a very, very long time. So to be able to see it and then discover that you've made such a singular experience, whew, congratulations.
Thanks, Perri.
Thank you.
All right, Russell, you're getting the hardest question on my list today.
Hell yeah.
A lot of our viewers are first going to learn about your movie through this interview. Can you give everyone a brief synopsis?
This is a movie. It's an experiential film about paranoia. A woman moves into a new rental home. She is starting a new chapter in her life. She is recently sober. She is trying to fill her home with as much crap as possible that she can get through an e-commerce website called Smirk. She starts receiving, amidst the objects that she did order, some things that she did not. And they ring true to certain, they remind her of certain memories of her recent past. They feel eerily similar to experiences that she's had. And she feels like someone is maybe watching her or trying to tell her something. And she goes down a rabbit hole and torches every relationship in her life to find out who the sender could be.
I'm going to give you one of my favorite writing questions in general, but especially when I become real fascinated by a concept. What was idea number one, the thing that started this all? But then also, did you have a break story moment, something you all came up with along the way that made this idea feel really whole to you?
So to answer the first part, Jamie's sister experienced the brushing scam that we then spoke about and thought that this would be there's a subject, there's a great prompt for a movie here. The idea of a woman who was white knuckling through her sobriety and not asking for help except from e-commerce reps asking why she is receiving certain packages, that really excited me. And then as we put the movie together, and like every indie movie, this took a while to actually make its final form. It became this leave it all on the dance floor. How do you want to articulate this feeling in a visual medium with some of the best actors in the business? And I wanted to make something that perpetually unnerved you, but also made you laugh. And that tone was the thing that we found as a cast and as a crew. And they brought their own artistry and their own kind of gonzo energy to this movie. And that's what I'm so in awe of and proud of.
Not an easy tone to nail, and you most certainly do, is one of the most impressive aspects of your film. I'll build on something you just said, that, it can be a challenge getting a movie like this off the ground. So I'll give this to both of you, Russell and Jamie, as producers here. I'll give you a big two-part two-part question about this, actually. Can you tell me something that happened along the way that you would think is like a sender low, something that happened that made you think maybe we're never going to make this movie? But then I also want an example of the opposite, something that happened that made you stop and go, like, the time is now, we're really going to do it.
Okay, well, this is an indie movie. This movie was made for a very little amount of money in 17 days. It was shot in Los Angeles, California, on a shoestring budget. I've talked about it a little bit in an interview, and I've certainly never spoken about it on camera, but I will because it's you. When you're casting movies, it's fascinating today what happens, because when you bring up an actor's name, what happened was, actors are brought up, and Russell would say, I'm interested in maybe Betty Smith going to be in the movie. And Betty Smith's managers wouldn't let her read it unless we offered it to her. And the obscenity that the way actor representatives handle their clients was brought into such sharp relief for me as a producer, because I would call Russell and be like, what are you talking about? She won't read it? And this is the lead in a movie. Anyway, that was shocking to me as a producer, just shocking. And the great news is that Betty Smith, sorry, because I also remember the day that Russell said, I'm going to meet Britt Lower on Tuesday, and Britt Lower had read it and was super interested in exploring this story that this filmmaker was going to make, and that Britt accepted the role and partnered in the role. Didn't just take the part. This isn't Legos. This is art, and Britt brought the art of filmmaking and partnered with a great director, and it was beautiful to behold.
I love that. I'm gonna follow up on that a little too. I wrote down,
of course you are, because you're Perri.
Yeah, I wrote down a quote that I love somewhere. I think, Russell, you might have said this. Yeah, you said that the two of you found Sender's Irregular heartbeat together. So I'd love to hear more about that. And in particular, if you two, during that process, had kind of like an aha moment, something you did or thought of that made the two of you go, like, that heartbeat, we got it now.
We have a very sibling-esque push and pull as collaborators. That was extremely exciting for me, making my first film. And making a movie with a brilliant actor who is in the center of basically every frame of the movie, and navigating the tone of it. I think that the movie itself, when I wrote it, I like funny. I don't think that the script itself was particularly comic. Britt found a way to approach situations with such reality that just the reaction to them felt so funny and true. And I loved combining that with a movie that was this anxious. And as the shoot went on, we became like, it was like when I imagine like when siblings direct a movie and you're like, okay, Russell, make sure this goes here. And I'm like, okay, Britt, make sure you do that and hit that here. And everyone else on the crew who was amazing and like really down for this ride, or just like, they're just in Britt and Russell world right now. Yeah.
And my goal every day was to try to make you laugh behind the camera. And I knew that we were hitting the right tone when I could hear him giggle. And you were just so wonderfully generous with me. I'd be like, can I do this strange dance at the end of the movie? I stayed up till like 3 a.m, sort of wildly choreographing. And I was like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to film myself doing it and show it to you. And what do you think? And he was like, yeah. He just said, yeah. And then we did it.
And there's no better ending to a movie that I think I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Than that. It's so powerful. It's so fantastic because it's the metaphor for what's happening is so profound.
She tells the story of the film, which I did not even realize until the second take. But that's what
I'm saying. It's a complete metaphor. Yeah. And yet we're watching it happen. And by the way, I will tell you, Parker Posey called Christopher Guest and said, I she said, I've written a monologue for this character's audition for Waiting for Guffman. Can I do it? And it didn't make the cut, but if you've ever seen the extended footage of Waiting for Guffman, Parker Posey's monologue about is it her brother who's the one on their deathbed on life support, and she gives this monologue. Anyway, it's very similar what happened when Parker called Chris and said, I've written a monologue. Can I just perform it for you tomorrow? And he was like, okay. Same thing with this, but this made the movie. It makes the movie. It makes the movie memorable in a way, in a weird way. It's what you leave with, and it's because of you. You're spectacular. Sorry.
Speaks
you.
the truth.
It's amazing.
All right, David, I'm going to start to loop you in. I'm going to give this question to both you and Britt because I just found the dynamic. I'll keep using the word singular because there's so many aspects of this movie that feel so wildly unique to me. And the dynamic between your characters gave me that feeling. Can you
Talk over my breath.
can you each tell me?
Let's look at each other over these mounds that are in your way. It's fine. I'll just lean back.
What is the first thing you each saw in the other that signaled to you you are definitely the Julia to my Charlie and vice versa?
Yeah.
Black fingernail polish.
I walked into we were meeting to a fitting and getting our hair and talking about that stuff, and was already a fan, but then got to meet and Britt was just so open and engaging, but not in a way that felt anything other than just truthful. And that's who she is as a person, and that's what makes her who she is as an artist. And she looked at my nails and said, I really like these. I think we should ask the director maybe if you could wear them. Because I was like, oh, does Charlie have a way of expressing? Because Charlie is so reserved and so internal, and I think is in many ways a lot like me and like a bit of a geek. Probably plays Magic the Gathering like I do, and probably paints his nails like I do. And then and Russell said yes again, like you were just saying. He just said yes.
And Julia and Britt were so drawn to your expression and to Charlie's expression. And David just has this big open heart that you have an effect.
Thank you.
And you have an effect on me, and you had an effect on Julia. And
I love doing our scenes
yeah,
together.
it was so fun.
And it's one of the hottest intimate moments on film that I've seen in a long time. And obviously we're inundated with intimate moments and all of that in movies. And yet this moment between them, as a producer, I was just I lost breath when I saw it because it's so...
You texted me.
I did.
You go, I'm watching the cut and this is so hot.
It's so palpably filled, which is really ultimately what you want. And it rarely is. It's really usually graphic, which isn't what intimacy is at all. And it was so intimate and exquisite. And a lot of that has to do with the way it was shot. But it was also maybe because they were good.
But as far as finding things, we knew that van scene was coming. But what was on the page was completely different than what we shot. It was a different scene that we were setting up for, where all of us were sitting in a room and going like, we have to honor what Britt and David are bringing to these characters that makes them so singular and unique, and find the chemistry with them. And I think that's what Britt and Anna did. That's what Britt and Ray Seahorn did. That's what Britt and Utkarsh did. Britt and Mitch, all of these, Britt and Jamie in this kind of odd distance way, like that is what all of these kind of unique flavors of relationships and people that come across her life was so exciting.
That tees up the sister relationship quite nicely. I'll use your character to kind of tease some of what's going on here. Can you maybe tell me something that you wanted to do that kind of struck a similarity to Britt's performance, so that we felt that there's like real history in that they're sisters, but then also tease what makes her such a drastically different person?
Per point, incredible question. Yeah, I just, there's substance abuse in my family, and something that I thought was so beautiful about this script is that it was very unafraid to acknowledge the parts of recovery that are very sticky and hard. And I think something that often happens to someone in the family who isn't the one who isn't the addict is that they then get kind of cast as like their life is together. Like you are kind of, it's, I'm like, have some like eldest daughter, like you are fine. And so I think there was something that Russell, I felt like really encouraged and was really in the script, which was that my character was subjected to a very fucked up childhood as well. And like we had the same background, whether or not we had the same chemical reaction to it. And so I think something that I just really enjoyed about this character was that I was able to kind of spiral with Britt, like that we were kind of both going through a hard time at the same moment. So I don't know if that's like, it's playing as kind of specific sibling moment, but it felt like something that I just had never seen articulated in a movie before.
There's so much in this movie that I've never seen articulated, I don't know, before or quite this way. I did skip this particular question and I want to go back to it. Jamie, you're so good at, no, it's not a question for you. You're so good at giving other people flowers. I want Russell to give you flowers.
Yes.
I'm going to read this really long quote because I liked it. It's something you said in your director's statement. The whole Sender family believed in the creative freedom offered by truly independent film, particularly my boss, producer, and star, Jamie Lee Curtis, who can make you feel like anything in the world is possible. What a beautiful quality to have in this industry and life in general. What is it about how she operates that makes you feel like anything in your own career is possible?
I think I met Jamie in a moment where like she had just shot the first of the Halloween new films and her brain was just exploding with creativity. And she felt like young and excited and wanted to try things. And I've seen in the 8 years since I've known her, that risk taking, that like I want to back young people. I want to back things that I'm like, I want to back the Daniels. I want to back like all these like things that like are surprising me and exciting me. And I wanted to honor that spirit. And I knew that any movie getting made is a miracle. Especially now, and any movie like this that like has, I think, such a you haven't seen this kind of thing before is a miracle. And Jamie was incredibly protective. She was an incredibly protective producer, not just in giving us the environment to play, but also when she showed up to set to do her crazy stuff, just like setting the bar. And she tells me, jump, I say how high.
Beautiful qualities to have.
It's a collaborative art form, period, end of story. It's why I wanted to ask you about how you're feeling about what you're doing and how you're elevating. Because the truth of the matter is, none of us can do this by ourselves. That's not how this works. We can't do even this without, if you turn the cameras around, there are 40 people in here? Like literally, whatever you're consuming right now, there's a whole group of people creating what you're consuming. It's a collaborative art form. So if we're not in that zone, if people think this is just a way to make money, they're wrong. And that's why AI will ultimately fail, because that's not what this is about. This is about art, and you cannot fake art. You just can't. You cannot fake feelings. You cannot fake why we all respond to you. You cannot fake that. That is not, it has nothing to do with show business. It has to do with it has to do with curiosity. AI isn't fucking curious. You are. That's why, and Russell is. And that's why Russell made a llama musical at film school.
Alpaca musical.
Alpacas.
Sorry, to all the alpacas out there. I'm so sorry if I just misgendered you on national television. I am so sorry. I meant alpacas. But he made an alpaca musical. He's now directing a movie that's premiering at South by. That's art. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's exciting to be alive.
You speak the truth. Don't drop that mic just yet. Before I let you go, I feel like some of you know what I have to do. I have to look ahead because we have Sender that's premiering here and is wonderful, and I cannot wait to see the conversation that this movie sparks. Got a couple of upcoming projects that I have to tap into quickly. First, David, just because I haven't said this to you yet.
One Piece. Oh, sorry.
Exactly that.
Sorry.
I love you.
Talk about a perfectly cast ensemble.
Oh my
God, you made the most of that role. So obviously it leaves me needing to ask you, like, are you coming back? Am I going to get to see more?
I don't know what I can say. I don't know what I can say,
either.
but it's connected to Sender. Sure, she's nodding. So interpret that as you will. But it's connected to Sender because when I first talked to Jamie, who's a hero to me, and she was like, we're making this really cool movie and you're going to love this director, or come and read the script and be a part of this. And I was like, I'm so excited. But my son was in the car with me when we were on the phone on speaker, and we started talking about One Piece, and we went off because she's a big One Piece fan. And now I get to be a part of that world. And I'm so honored and thrilled and privileged to get to be a part of bringing one of the greatest mangas ever written to life. So thank you.
That season was staggeringly
Phenomenal.
impressive.
Yeah.
Britt, I'm sure you've been asked about Severance time and time again today. I'm going to attempt to give you a safe and different question. So, you have played that character for 2 seasons now. The characters have changed. And also, I'm sure you have evolved as an artist since the beginning of the show's run. Is there anything about like where your headspace is at going into season 3 that feels drastically different from how you felt going into 1 and 2?
Whew. I mean, that is the beauty of doing television, is that it is seasonal and that you do put the characters kind of on a shelf for a minute and be like, I'm going to be right back. And you go and live your life and you grow and evolve. And I don't know if I have a formed answer for you, but I think the dialogue that we've been in with our fans and with journalists like yourself has really taught us more about the message that people are receiving from the show and the way it's impacting their lives. And that has an effect too. So I think I'll go back in with a sense that like the story that we're like mining is primal, and it's touching people at their core and asking them, what are we doing here? And what does it mean to be a human? And those are the questions that I'm going to bring into season 3.
I love the sound of that. I'll throw in one more, because Jamie and Russell, you're both here, and I'm not going to stop talking about Mother Nature. Where's that movie? I want that movie.
He's going to.
Apparently, I'm going to direct
it. That's what's going to happen. Mother Nature is going to ultimately happen because of Sender. No, because of Sender. And yes, it's all going to happen. But it's because of Sender, because of what's going to happen tonight when people see Russell's movie, because he's a filmmaker. And so I guarantee you people are going to be saying, okay, what else? And we have something else, which we're not going to talk about, but it's also spectacular. So basically,
Jamie overflows with ideas.
I am an idea person. I'm constantly having ideas.
Keep being that way, because I'm going to follow you from project to project. The same is true of all of you. And because I didn't give you an upcoming project question, I'll just tell everybody, Idioka, I believe it's in theaters now.
Idioka's so good.
If it's available where you watch films digitally, please go buy it, go rent it. It's exceptional. To all of you, huge congratulations on
Thanks,
Severance.
Perri.
Thank you so much.
Perri.
Always.
Thanks for being Perri.